Hi, I'm Rami Atasi, and this is Guitar Tactics. So today we're going to look at the concept of scale switching. So the idea behind scale switching is that each scale offers us an interesting color that we can use to play over chords. You know, each scale kind of brings a musical color. And as chords change, sometimes we want to change the scales that we're playing, maybe to color the chords in new ways or to match in a way, sometimes with the chords as they change. So in this lesson we're going to take a look at a simple chord progression of A7 to D7. And we're going to take a look at two scales, the A Mixolydian scale, which we're going to play over the A7, and then the A Dorian scale, which we're going to play over the D7. So I'm going to show you how to move back and forth between these two scales as the chords change. And you know, you can use this for playing solos, but you can also use it for writing melodies, or you know, writing lead lines or single note lines. So you know, it's not just about solos, but this will help you kind of hear how the scales move with the chords. And so I'm going to play for a minute here. Okay, so I'm using two scales there. The first, which I'm using over the A7, is an A Mixolydian scale. So I've provided it for you in a position where you can play it in two octaves. So I'm playing it somewhat like this. Okay, and you can take it all the way down. Okay, and so then the second scale that I'm playing is an A Dorian, and so that sounds like this. And again, if you take that down, so okay, so what we have there is, you know, we have two scales. And over the A7 we're going to play A Mixolydian. And let's take a look at how that works and why we would play an A7 there. So why we'd play an A Mixolydian. So the A7, the voicing I'm using is like this. And I provided it for you. I'm using my thumb for the bass note, but some folks maybe would do it more like this. And so what I want to point out here is that we're in the key of A, and we're playing over an A7, which is a chord with a major third. So it has a C sharp in it, and that's this note. And let's hear that against the A in the bass. Okay, and so Mixolydian is a scale with a major third. Along with some other notes, and that's one of the reasons that it works well over an A7. The other thing is the A7 has a G in it, and so that sounds like this. All right, let's hear that against the A, with the C sharp in there. And so the Mixolydian also has a G in it. You know, the A Mixolydian has a G or a flat 7. So they work well together, and you can hear, and you can also just sort of see visually, like here's the A7, and here's the A Mixolydian. There's the bass note. Okay, so that's the A7. Now let's take a look at what happens when we go to the D7. So for the D7, I'm using this grip here. Okay, so when we go to the D7, a few things change. We're going to play the A Dorian, which is a minor scale. That sounds like this. And the reason this works is because, let's take a look at what's going on in this D7. So in the D7 we have a low D, we have an F sharp, and then we have a C. And that C, that's what's interesting, you know, an A7 has a C sharp, which is a major third, and then a D7 has a C, which is, you know, again, in a D7 there's a C, but also if we think we're in the key of A, what is that C and that A? That sounds like a minor third, like that, okay? And so that's why this A minor scale is going to work real well. That sort of thing, right? And so, you know, when we're playing our lead lines, what we're doing is we're going to move in a fluid way between the two chords and between the two scales. And so you can hear kind of when I was playing over the backing track, what I was doing is I was taking advantage of the fact that, you know, you can just sort of walk from one scale into the next. Like here, I'll show you. Start with a mixolydian. 2, 3, 4. And so you can hear there how I'm really making use of the C to C sharp, right? And I'm really making that happen. So let's put this backing track back in here and take one more listen to these scales over the backing track, because sometimes it's hard to just sort of hear them in a vacuum. So I'm going to cue up our backing track here, and I'm going to play these scales one more time. Okay, so you can hear how, you know, we sort of move back and forth, and you really want to listen for that chord change when that D7 happens, and that's when you can accent this note, the C, instead of the C sharp. And so in that way you can move back and forth between the A mixolydian and the A Dorian. And so that's all we have for today with scale switching, but of course, you know, you can take this a lot further and expand it, and, you know, feel free to shoot me a note if you have any questions about how to handle this particular concept. Thanks for watching, and good luck with your practicing.